it out, man. This Alchemist. It's the God right here.
Don't pee right here, you know what I'm saying? And don't be scared to get shitty, man. You know what I'm saying? UGTV is going down.
What's good, y'all? This is Music Soul Channel right now. You are checking out Urban Grind TV.
What up, man? This is Ludacris, and right now you are watching UGTV.
What's happening? It's the Teflon Don Ricky Rouse. And right now you rocking with Urban Grind TV. It's going down. Flock Bell install 10 minutes UGTV. Don't go nowhere.
Yo, what's up? It's Eric Sermon, the Green Light Bandit in Chi-Town. UGTV, you know how I do all day. Represent that. You know what time it is.
Joel Santana, and right now you checking out Urban Grind TV. Dipset for life, Skull Gang forever, Slow Bugs, keep up. Ooh.
What's up, it's the Patty Cake Man, and you are watching UGTV right here.
It's Big Snoop Dogg, Urban Grind TV, you understand me?
Urban Grind TV, Face Mob in the building. I'll let your motherfucking boy.
Killer Cam, King Joffrey, Joe, Spacey Sprockets, and right now you watching Urban Grind TV. You know what it is. Good set, you win.
Yo, check it out, y'all. It's the dead. It's Raekwon the Chef, and you doing it big right now on Urban Grind TV.
What's good, man? It's the God. You know what it is. You're watching UGTV.
Yo, what's up? It's DA to the Z, Urban Grind. You know what I mean? Television, keeping y'all updated. Get on the log in, email us, holler back. It's DA to the Z right here, Chicago, baby.
What's going on? It's your boy Wally, aka Mr. Music is My Business. We're live from the Windy City, Chi-Town, and we're rocking with the Behind the Grind series today. So what we do is we step behind the curtain of the music industry with this exclusive series, and what we do is we dive deep into the gears, the entertainment world, give people a rare glimpse in some of the essential roles that are played by industry professionals. Behind every successful artist is a team, and we're here to introduce you to those amazing people, give you some engaging perspectives. And my co-host today is co-author of Making Money with Music, Mr. Randy Cherko.
Hey, great to be back on Behind the Grind. And actually, I have been looking forward to introducing my very good friend, David Taylor, too. And part of the reason why I'm looking forward to introducing him is that this is a very humble man, and he would never talk about himself. In fact, I've actually been out in public with this guy at things like Grammy events. He's like, I forgot I did that. I'm like, I haven't forgotten what you've done. And it actually helps to have someone else introduce you, and I've done the same thing for you at different points.
You're great at that.
Well, it's a lot of fun, and so like this humble man here on my left does so much. It actually will take a while. He's a musician and songwriter first and foremost. His heart beats, basically as his heart beats, he's actually either coming up with a beat or coming up with a lyric, and he's here to talk about songwriting. So he has the credentials to back this up. He's been doing this forever. He knows music theory in and out. He does lyrics in and out, and even like the more electronic today's music in and out. So he's done all of that kind of stuff. But beyond that, he's been a producer and actually produced some charting artists, in fact, although we're not here to talk about that today. He's also an author. He's written multiple books, and including children's books and other books right now, and you're in the middle of a comic book project and releasing a comic book as well, which looks fantastic, and it's an amazing thing. You've got some really active social media in a lot of different areas. But today, we're here to talk about your identity as the intrepid songwriter. Can you talk just a little bit about what you do, just to introduce yourself? Would you mind?
Well, you went over some of the many hats that I wear, but intrepid songwriter in particular is about all the things I wish someone had told me when I started out in this game, because the music industry is unlike any other game out there. And none of the models that you're used to, that you would learn in any kind of business school, apply to us. So I wish that when I look back, I'm like, I wish somebody had told me. So I said, I'll be that somebody. So I started my intrepid songwriter thing because my tagline is, nobody tells you what a songwriter's life is really like. So that's what I endeavor to do on every level. And so I've got videos, I've got live videos of me going to events. I recorded sessions. I got a lot of music business stuff, a lot of tips and tricks, production stuff. So just to let you know what you're in for if you want to do this for a living, because it's not for the weak of heart.
That is for sure. And I mean, that's part of why, and this is another part of your background, is that you're an instructor. You actually teach this stuff as a professor. You've done a lot of consulting and helping people out. And anybody who's listening right now, just know that this is one man that you can turn to. He's actually very reachable. And from that standpoint, and this is something you've really made a lot of effort about, because a lot of our conversations that we've had, you like to study when things don't quite go right, just so that you can learn from it and make sure that people stay on the right track. So I think you have a list of 10 mistakes that songwriters make. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. So can we go through that list? Do you mind sharing that?
Okay, well, here's the first mistake. They don't understand the difference between the art of music and the business of music, because there's two separate things. So learning how to craft a song, play an instrument, produce a track is completely different from getting paid from that work, from owning that work, from owning a percentage of that work, from setting up an estate so your shorties can get paid. So if something happened to you, because the way music works is if you write songs, books too, but if you write songs, they will be paying you after you are gone. You must set that up while you're alive. I was just reading on Instagram about how Michael Jackson is the top paid deceased artist because he pulled in this year like $400 million off his catalog.
Been gone a long time.
I mean, you can't beat that with a stick. And so you got to know about that while you live, because you want to be sure you set your income streams up to go to where you want them to go to. One of the biggest mistakes, I'll get to this later on the list, but one of the biggest mistakes Prince made it, that's dying without a will. Nobody can understand how Prince could be as smart and business savvy as he was, but he died without a will. So what that means is that it's next of kin. So that's your spouse, your children, your siblings, and your parents in that order. So you have to be sure you have those relationships on point, because if you have a sizable catalog, that's a lot of money. So anyway, so you got to understand the difference between the art of music. You know, I'm working on my bass lines, I'm working on my beats, I'm working on picking my drum sounds. You know, I'm trying to find some unique kicks. I'm trying to find some hats everybody don't use. That's one thing. But it's a completely different thing of if we're working on a beat and it blows up, who gets what? Who owns it? If it gets on a track and money starts coming in, how do we divide that? It's a completely different subject.
And now, how is that determined?
In hip hop, the way it works is if we work on the beat, it has everything to do with how much time in the track your part is featured. So if you write the hook, however many times the hook goes, then you divide that out. That's how you get your percentage. If you just added some hats on something, on a verse or a bridge or whatever, then you just get a percentage of that. For lyrics, you literally go lyric by lyric. So if you have 100 lyrics and I wrote 25 of them, I get 25% of the lyric money. Works like that. And so, again, and that's just basic stuff. That's not advanced stuff. So you have to understand the difference, and you got to get all that straight going in. Because if you don't get it straight going in, what's going to happen is if it blows up, somebody's going to come back later and say, well, you know, when you think about it, I really wrote most of that track. And then it's going to be this big thing, and you're not going to have any proof. So, again, first mistake is not understanding art of music versus business of music. Second thing is I just alluded to it, and that's not using split sheets.
Oh, yeah. There we go.
Not using split sheets. I found out with a lot of my students, they don't even know what a split sheet is. I'm like, a split sheet is your best friend if you're a songwriter, because you have got to get up front who did what, who owns what, when you did it. Did you use a sample? Did you clear the sample? Is this an original song? Is it a cover? How many songwriters are on it? Also, another big one, how can we find you? Okay, most people don't know that ASCAP, PRO, Performing Rights Organization, has $10 to $14 million every year that they can't pay out because they can't find the songwriters. So,
man,
so you've got to be reachable. It can't be like your burner phone and like, you got to be able to get a phone. We can get a hold of you, an email address that you actually read.
Now you've introduced a lot of topics that somebody just starting out might not know. Let's
okay.
go back to the beginning.
Okay.
What is a split sheet? You said you got to have one.
Okay.
What is it?
A split sheet is where you write down every detail about your songwriting session. So you write down your multiple dates. You don't just write down one day. Every time we get together, we put every date we wrote on that split sheet. We write down the working title of the song, because that might change by the time we register it. We write down, did we use samples? That's huge. And you have to have language in the split sheet that says if we use samples and somebody didn't clear them, if they come after you, we have to give up a portion of our royalties to pay that third party. You're supposed to clear your samples, but a lot of people think music is free and it's not. You gotta have that. You gotta have your contact information, which includes identifying information like your birthday and your full name. Super, super important, especially if you are named after your dad like I am, because checks and a whole bunch of things will be going to me and my father and my son all have the same name. So,
me too.
So, you'll be getting each other's mail, a whole bunch of stuff, and you'll be like, what is this? So that's why I use the second in everything I do, David Taylor the second, to differentiate between my father and my son. My father's senior, my son is the third. You gotta have that. If you don't want to put your social security number out there, which I can understand, you need to use your ASCAP or BMI identification number, because that's your unique number in the system that identifies you as you.
Your IPI, is that what
right, your IPI number, yes, super, super important. And then address, you should have a P.O. box, not your home address, because P.O. boxes are more professional. And if you move, you still got your P.O. box that they can send stuff to, because you only have a year for your PRO royalties to claim them. I don't know if they've changed that, but last time I checked, you got 12 months, and then they absorb them back into the system. And what most people don't know is that they give them to the big names. So in other words, if you're like Beyonce and somebody else wrote a hit song and they don't know who to pay that person, and there's extra royalties to be given out, it flows up to the big names.
Always does.
Most people don't know that too, so
That's right.
So it's not fair.
No.
So you need to have that. So contact information, which has to include email, a cell phone, post office box, your social or your IPI, something that identifies you as you, especially if you're named after your dad or you have a common name like John Smith, because how they gonna know which John Smith to pay if we don't know it's you? And then you have to write down on the split sheet your contribution to the song in terms of lyrics, your contribution to the song in terms of music. What is your percentage? That's what we talked about. You got to figure that out. Also, you should have a PRO affiliation, Performing Rights Organization, which is ASCAP or BMI or CSAC, but you got to be invited to be on CSAC. And then there's GMR, but you got to be invited to be on Global Music Rights. So ASCAP and BMI, you can sign up for yourself. So when the song is performed in a public venue of any kind, those organizations track that performance and they pay the songwriters and the publishers. So you have to have that down. So when you register, everybody knows that's you, so you can get your money. And so if you have an association, an affiliation with a PRO, if we're all signed up with ASCAP, that's easier. If we are somebody's ASCAP and somebody's BMI, then you have to have two different publishing companies to cover that. It can't be the same company for both. So you got to have all that. And then you must have a fresh signature. Now, another thing people do wrong here is they make Xerox copies. That is a mistake. You make blank copies and fill each one of them out, and everybody signs each one. Now you have an original signature and not a copy.
I remember doing that. Paper, right? Then you put your social security number on these things back in the day before the IPI, right?
For the IPI, yeah. Because you got to be able to prove that you're you.
I just was blowing my mind because the guy passed out. He had all these papers right in the other room, and we had like ton of them. I'm like, why are we filling this out? Let's make a copy. I did not know that was why.
No. But what you want fresh signatures on each one. You want handwritten signatures. You don't want Xerox copies. So if we wrote a song together, we print out 3 split sheets, and all 3 of us sign each one. Now we all have original signed copies. That's what you want. Not we all sign one and then Xerox it. Don't want that. We all have original copies. So yeah, you got to do that every time you write with a person.
Up there, yeah.
That makes total sense.
Yeah.
Attention artists, producers, and record labels. Are you ready to elevate your music career?
Urban Grind TV will get your music video on BET Jams. That's right, guaranteed airplay for your music video on BET Jams. You'll receive a minimum of 6 to 12 plays, gaining you massive exposure to fans and industry insiders. Just contact Urban Grind TV and we take care of everything. The professional video preparation, the closed captioning, the submission, and the music video placement with the results guaranteed. Just contact Urban Grind TV, send us your file via WeTransfer, complete the payment securely on our website, urbangrindtv.com, and we handle the rest. All you need to do is call 888-380-1913 and visit urbangrindtv.com to get started today. Urban Grind TV, where your music meets the spotlight.
What's up, everybody? This your boy, Cut Calhoun, the Kansas City Chief. Wanted to let y'all know that new album, The Devil Is a Lie, is available on all streaming platforms. Make sure you go out and show some support. To all promoters, I am now accepting tour dates for 2025. The name of the tour is Back Like I Never Left. For booking info, you can get it below. And make sure to follow your boy Cut Calhoun on all my socials. And you can find that below as well. 2025, Back Like I Never Left. Now accepting booking dates. Holla.
Yo, what's the word? It's SMG Zello, aka Thought Boy Zello, the Talk a Lot artist, man. In the beginning, it was hard for me to get exclusives and to get promo for my music. But guess what? UGTV has that, man. Call the number below and they will help you out, man. It was the best thing I did for myself.
SMG shit. Shout out SEM. From Memphis to the rack. From the rack back. Still focused. Working. Grinding for everything and nothing less. Gang. I'm on the ground like, whoa. Plenty of fish, you won't pay for the kitty. I probably hit once, then I ghost. Move like the Kennedy, I'm at your energy. Who is that boy? I don't know. He use a drum, so he up in the scope. Keep your friends safe and your enemies close. Brody a demon, he getting his mode. Empty the clip, so he gotta reload. Take what he on, I won't go in his pockets. I see through the cap, so that boy better stop it. I'm trying to see cash that don't fit in the wallet. SMG coming, we trying to make profit. Good talk with sinister, say it's no option. I use my technique, stick and move like I'm boxing. I been gave the word, so they ready to box him. I open up doors, thought you needed a locksmith. All of these drugs, can't nobody just drop me. Bro, buckle with stick in the back of the part. All of these niggas play game what they like, but you cannot respond. No, this shit not a tar. Niggas be hating for any little reason, but I'ma keep rapping these features with Barbie. Trim this shit down till I get to the top. Now I'm about to offset like I'm dealing with Cardi. I'm going back to back, feeling like Pat. They was sleeping on Zello. Wake up from the nap. They put bread on his top since that boy want a cap. I get money, you don't. Let's just keep it a stack. If I sign a contract, I bet that bitch a max. I got smooth so it's lit. I'm on fire like a max. Can't be chasing the bitch, so I'm chasing the sack. If you don't got a problem, we making it that. Plenty of fish, you won't pay for the kitty. I probably hit once, then I ghost. Move like the Kennedy, I'm at your energy. Who is that boy? I don't know. He use a drum, so he up in the scope. Keep your friends safe and your enemies close. Brody a demon, he getting his mode. Empty the clip, so he gotta reload. Take what he on, I won't go in his pockets. I see through the cap, so that boy better stop it. I'm trying to see cash that don't fit in the wallet. SMG coming, we trying to make profit. Good talk with sinister, say it's no option. I use my technique, stick and move like I'm boxing. I been gave the word, so they ready to box him. I open up doors, thought you needed a locksmith.
Sinister gang, we doing that damn thing, ain't doing the damn thing. It's too many haters and so many fakers. They love the haters, we soul players. Don't care what they talking, the money is popping. Got it in motion, ain't no boasting. Me and the team, taking the world. That's Urban Grind, that's SCM, that's SMG. Whoever else under the umbrella coming across like the good fellas. Spencer Cologne, they love the smell of us. Only a few, like where's the rest of us? I'm counting this money, I'm keeping it on me. Drinking this liquor like what is wrong with me? I'm rolling these raws, don't mess with woods. Niggas run up, I wish they would. Getting this money, they wish they could. I won't explain, should be understood. The way that I'm walking, the way that I'm talking, there's something about me. They love, they hate me. These niggas is talking, these bitches is stalking. This shit is appalling. I wanna keep ballin', so stay out my way. I'm not here for play. We coming through, so clear the way.
Plenty of fish, you won't pay for the kitty. I probably hit once, then I ghost. Move like the Kennedy, I'm at your energy. Who is that boy? I don't know. He use a drum, so he up in the scope. Keep your friends safe and your enemies close. Brody a demon, he get in his mode. Empty the clip, so he gotta reload. Take what he on, I won't go in his pockets. I see through the cap, so that boy better stop it. I'm trying to see cash that don't fit in the wallet. SMG coming, we trying to make profit. Good talk with sinister, say it's no option. I use my techniques, think and move like I'm boxing. I been gave the word, so they ready to box him. I opened up doors, thought you needed a locksmith.
What's going on? It's your boy Wally, aka Mr. Music is My Business. And I'm here to tell you about the Music Royalty Registration Program. That's right, you can monetize your music and secure your rights with the 14 to 16 essential registrations to protect and maximize your earnings. But why choose this program? Great question. How about getting paid for every stream, download, or play? Save time and effort with expert guidance. Ensure proper credit and ownership. And there's also those music licensing opportunities. For more information, visit urbangrindtv.com or call us at 888-380-1913. Hit the line up and get your grind up.
Are you an artist, model, or entertainer? Do you need help with bookings, castings, or even engagement on your platforms? Hit up Urban Grind TV today and let them get you right.
What's going on? It's your boy Wally, aka Mr. Music is My Business from Urban Grind TV. I'm here to announce my brand new book is out. It's available everywhere books are sold. It's titled Music is My Business, the ultimate startup guide to the music business. You can check it out at musicbusinessebook.com, Amazon Books, Barnes & Nobles, and everywhere that books are sold. And it will help you turn your love for music into a sustainable career. Check us out, musicbusinessebook.com. Technology. So I remember the paper. I was alluding to paper because most people at home, they don't really. We're in a digital age, right? So generationally, they're not used to it. So I remember having the paper. I still got a ton of split sheets, doing albums and doing projects. How do you feel about technology? Because like I started with, I think it was song splits, and I'm not endorsing or not, but they were awesome. I used them, and it tracks a lot of the stuff, like things you don't know, like you don't know why. How do you feel about the digital, using like technology and stuff for split sheets? Or you still would rather have the paper? What would you recommend?
Well, I prefer the paper if we're online or resuming or whatever, because that's, again, a personal signature and we're not involving a third party. Nobody has to take a cut if they do administrative rights. It's just all between all of us, and so we don't have to worry about, what would you do if the website shuts down, or what would you do if they go out of business, or what would you do if everything's there and now you have no copies at all.
Right.
And so I prefer the hard copies. And if you're using PDFs, you can actually sign right on PDFs. If you use Adobe Acrobat or other things, you can use to sign on the PDF. But still, everybody has their own copy. And then once you have that, you don't have to worry about it. You just have to have a good filing system.
Right. But given that we are in a digital age and we do collaborations with people like you guys didn't meet, right? You and Christy. So I'm saying, are you against using technology and those things? You're not going to snail mail the paper and then sign it and send it back, right? You would.
Well, no, you can email an attachment and sign right on the PDF.
Well, that's what I mean, digitally.
Yeah. No, that's good. Yeah, no, I'm definitely good with that. Because you can create a digital signature and use it on all those documents. So yeah, that's cool.
And I like the song splits because any addendums or changes you make, it updates all the parties and it keeps it well organized. And I know you can download it, but you're right. If you're gonna leave it in their system, like having something on MySpace, right? It's gone.
Well, if you're, I think the lesson is if you're gonna use a system like like Song Splits
Yeah.
or any of the others, they usually do let you download a copy
Yes,
of
they
it.
do.
And so, like, what you should be thinking is, wow, if this disappeared, I wouldn't have this. So you should at least, if you're going to use a system, download it, have it, send it out. And actually, if you have it on email that, hey, this is our split sheet and it's there, if it ever came to a dispute, you'd actually have something in case there was any kind of lawsuit or anything.
You know what I thought was dope? When I did jazz is I just like seeing it all, like the catalog.
Yeah.
Like the dashboard was kind of cool because when you log in, you would see all your works. So I thought that was.
I'm not against using those tools myself. By the
Me
way.
either.
Yeah.
That's a publishing function, though. If you're signed with a publisher, they're supposed to keep that information updated, and they're supposed to be sure that everybody involved in the song that they have the latest information, because it's their job when the royalties come in to pay people.
Right.
So that's a function of publishing. But I'm not opposed to it. I'm just saying I've just pretty much done it kind of the old-fashioned way because I'm normally in the room with people.
Yeah, I mean, here's the good news. David, I think some of these things actually just do the tracking and not the administrative publishing where they take the cut. In which case, the thing you're left with is if it fails, then it's gone. So if you download it, you can keep going forward, especially because there's a lot of collaborative projects that are done with people who never met each other, in different parts of the world. So,
So yeah, no, that's cool. You just need to have a backup.
So step one then is the papers. Let's always take the paperwork. And I never heard of it. I did not know that about how you count the lyrics, and that makes total sense.
I've never heard that.
It's numerical. It's totally logical.
Right.
So that's a great thing. Is that like an unwritten rule, or how is that?
Kind of been an unwritten rule of hip hop, yeah. But people are always arguing about who wrote the hook, and who wrote the beat, and who owns the beat, and I put hats on the fourth measure, and what do I get for that? And so you got to divide all that out mathematically. But the lyrics are a little bit easier, just when you get the total count, and then you see how many you wrote, and then you get that percentage, and that's what you own. And then you've also got to decide with the split sheet. Okay, the way copyright is really complicated, but the way copyright works is you got to decide if we're going to have joint ownership in all of this, which is actually what happens when you co-write a song. We all own it equally, and people don't really understand what that means. That means we all have the same rights under copyright law. But that's not proportional to how much of the song you wrote. That's where people get confused. So if I wrote 10% and you guys wrote the rest, I still have the same copyright rights even though I only wrote 10% of the song. What you don't get is the same amount of royalties. I'm only supposed to get 10% of the money. And then you guys split the rest. But you all have the same rights, which means, like I teach all my students, only write with people you are down with. I trust this woman right here. I trust Christy. You know, I know she's a professional, and I know because we think alike.
Yeah.
She wants high quality stuff, and I do too. So I know it's not going to be, anything less than the best. And so write with people that you are down with, because when you get through writing, they can take that song, they can put it on YouTube, they can do anything they want to do with it because they own it just like you do, even if they only wrote 10% of it. That's where most people get confused.
That's right. They have full rights, although it bears mentioning that as we talk to, we've got another show called The OGs of Hip Hop, and it doesn't always work out forever. I guess that's the thing to remember in this industry, right? Like, things happen and change.
Yeah.
Well, that's why you want everything on paper, and that's why you want contracts, because when you create songs, they will outlive you. Okay? So when you're doing other types of work, it's kind of you give goods and services in exchange for a paycheck, and then you hit a point in your life where you don't have to do that anymore, or you can't do it anymore. Music is not like that. You can write a song one time, and I'll give you my favorite example is the Macarena. Nobody saw that coming. The Macarena was written by dudes in their 50s and 60s.
Uh-huh.
They've been in the game a long time. Nobody saw that blowing up the way it blew up, and all of a sudden, the Macarena was everywhere. They made hundreds of millions of dollars off the Macarena.
Oh, man.
Their smallest check was 6 figures.
Uh-huh.
And they were still getting paid in the early 2000s just from the Macarena alone. See, something like that can happen at any point in your life, and you have to have your paperwork together because you don't want 6 and 7 figures of royalties out there floating around.
That's a great lesson.
And you're not getting your cut.
Or be in litigation with each other trying to get the
Right,
money.
But if you have a signed wet copy like you're talking about, you're good on that.
Well, what you're talking about is a Hall & Oates situation because they fell out. They wrote all them songs together and then they fell out and then they had to go to court and they're arguing about everything. Same thing happened with a Foreigner.
There's no idea.
Videos online where if you listen to him tell it, basically the main guy wrote, "I Want to Know Where Love Is," and the lead singer just kind of stole it.
Oh, man.
And so that was such a big hit, and he didn't give him a fair split. Mm-hmm. He did something like 95.5, and it should have been in his favor.
Oh, wow.
And so then he got a new publishing deal, and he got all the money, and he's still bitter.
Why wouldn't you be?
So yeah, that's
so great lesson. If you get it signed ahead of time and it's clear and everybody's looking at the percentages while you write it, that going forward will make.
So that's just number one, right?
No, we're on number 2. So what about number 3?
So wait, just number 1 again for the audience?
Number 1 was they don't understand the difference between the art of music and the business.
It's a business.
I say the music business and the music industry, but it's the same thing.
Yeah.
One's making money and the other one's just having fun.
Right.
That's amazing. Okay, number 2.
So
no, that was number 2.
You got to use a split sheet. You must use a split sheet. Mm-hmm. Okay, number 3, top 10 mistakes songwriters make is they don't know how to get out of writer's block. Because they say either how do I get started or I'm stuck. And there's an old myth about how songs just kind of come to you by magic. Sometimes they do. That's the smallest amount of experience with songs where they come to you fully formed, but it's probably about 5% inspiration, 95% perspiration, as they say. Mm-hmm. And so you have to have solid techniques that you employ every time you hit a wall or you don't know where to start. So I'll just give you some of those because that's a whole teaching I do too. But I'll give you the 2 things to start with there. The first thing to start with when you want to write is you must start with your values. You must write about stuff you care about. When you write about stuff you care about, you pour more of yourself into it, and you will be more invested in the song. If you write stuff because it's a popular thing or you're chasing a sound or this is what everybody's doing, that's where everything sounds generic. But when you're talking about something you care about, it completely changes because there's something about, okay. I have to get metaphysical for a minute.
Break it down.
Music is not just natural, music is spiritual. Music is an elemental thing where you cannot hide. And most people don't know that. You cannot hide with music. When you sing, everything in you gonna come out. It's the most amazing thing. When you play an instrument, everything in you coming out. You can't hide in music. It's the most amazing thing. And so that's why when you write, when you get stuck, you need to write down a list of your values, number 1, and number 2, a list of what do I want to see in the world. And when you write down what I care about and when you write down what I want to see, many times that's when people understand if this doesn't exist in the world, because I'm supposed to do it. I care about this. I don't see this. So let me make this. I did that with one of my books. I have a book called Diary of a Smart Black Kid, 6th grade. When I was doing research, there were no books for black boys in junior high school. I couldn't believe it. 9 to 12, no books for where the black boy was the protagonist. I said, okay, that means I'm supposed to write one, so I did. So music is the same way. So I write down what I care about. I write down what I want to see in the world, my interests. Do that, have that, and that is your gateway to writing the music of your life. If you are chasing a sound, you're going to create something generic. It's indistinguishable from everybody else. Same beats, same types of lyrics, same subject matter, and it'll be just another track. When you write down, this is what I care about, this is what I've been through, this is what I want to see in the world, then that changes everything, and that energy actually gets in the song.
Amazing. That's deep. That's real. That's being authentic, right? Because you're basically saying eventually it's going to crack, and that's why I think I was thinking about this yesterday. That's why people get maybe one-hit wonders and they fizzle out and they can't recreate that magic. Is that what it is? Because they just kind of latched on to something that was popular and sometimes people get lucky?
Okay, well, again, that's multi-layered. It depends on if you're a singer or a singer-songwriter. If you perform stuff that other people write, then your producer's job is to hook your voice up in a range and a key with a song that you sound best at, and then you can get a hit.
That's right.
But you can't reproduce that if you don't know how that happened. And so even the best artists, the most developed artists, need producers to do that. But when you are a singer-songwriter and you can write your own stuff, then you learn that about yourself. What keys do I sound best in? Well, because you have a range of notes, but you don't sound good on all those notes. So where are my good notes? Let me write songs in that range, that kind of thing. And so, like I said, it's multi-layered. But when you know how to generate and do that for yourself, then you can do it over and over again. That's who Prince was. When you know how to do that, when you know your voice, when you know your range, you can over and over and over and over and over create stuff like that. But when somebody wrote it for you, then you have to wait until you get another one, and you might not get another one.
Attention artists, producers, and record labels. Are you ready to elevate your music career? Urban Grind TV will get your music video on BET Jams. That's right, guaranteed airplay for your music video on BET Jams. You'll receive a minimum of 6 to 12 plays, gaining you massive exposure to fans and industry insiders. Just contact Urban Grind TV and we take care of everything. The professional video preparation, the closed captioning, the submission, and the music video placement with the results guaranteed. Just contact Urban Grind TV, send us your file via WeTransfer, complete the payment securely on our website, urbangrindtv.com, and we handle the rest. All you need to do is call 888-380-1913 and visit urbangrindtv.com to get started today. Urban Grind TV, where your music meets the spot.
What's up, everybody? This your boy, Cut Calhoun, the Kansas City Chief. Wanted to let y'all know that new album, The Devil Is a Lie, is available on all streaming platforms. Make sure you go out and show some support. To all promoters, I am now accepting tour dates for 2025. The name of the tour is Back Like I Never Left. For booking info, you can get it below. And make sure to follow your boy Cut Calhoun on all my socials, and you can find that below as well. 2025, Back Like I Never Left, now accepting booking dates. Holla.
Yo, what's the word? It's SMG Zello, aka Thought Boy Zello, the Talk A Lot artist, man. In the beginning, it was hard for me to get exclusives and to get promo for my music. But guess what? UGTV has that, man. Call the number below, and they will help you out, man. It was the best thing I did for myself.
Let me tell this story. Yeah. In my mind, I want this all the time. the shaking in my face. Temptation. Finna have me a new girl. Baby girl, you rock my world. Lingerie.
What's going on? It's your boy Wally, aka Mr. Music is My Business. And I'm here to tell you about the Music Royalty Registration Program. That's right, you can monetize your music and secure your rights with the 14 to 16 essential registrations to protect and maximize your earnings. But why choose this program? Great question. How about getting paid for every stream, download, or play? Save time and effort with expert guidance. Ensure proper credit and ownership. And there's also those music licensing opportunities. For more information, visit urbangrindtv.com or call us at 888-380-1913. Hit the line up and get your grind up.
Are you an artist, model, or entertainer? Do you need help with bookings, castings, or even engagement on your platforms? Hit up Urban Grind TV today and let them get you right.
I'm on the ground like, whoa. Plenty of fish, you won't pay for the kitty. I probably hit once, then I ghost. Move like the Kennedy, I'm at your energy. Who is that boy? I don't know. He use a drum, so he up in the scope. Keep your friends safe and your enemies close. Brody a demon, he get in his mode. Empty the clip, so he gotta reload. Take what he on, I won't go in his pockets. I see through the cap, so that boy better stop it. I'm trying to see cash that don't fit in the wallet. SMG coming, we trying to make profit. Good talk with sinister, say it's no option. I use my technique, stick and move like I'm boxing. I been gave the word, so they ready to box him. I open up doors, thought you needed a locksmith. All of these drugs, can't nobody just drop me. Broke uncle with stick in the back of the part. All of these niggas play game with they life, but you cannot respond. No, this shit not a tar. Niggas be hating for any little reason, but I'ma keep rapping these features with Barbie. Trim this shit down till I get to the top. Now I'm about to offset like I'm dealing with Cardi. I'm going back to back, feeling like Pat. They was sleeping on Zello. Wake up from the nap. They put bread on his top since that boy wanna count.
What's going on? It's your boy Wally, aka Mr. Music is My Business from Urban Grind TV. I'm here to announce my brand new book is out. It's available everywhere books are sold. It's titled Music is My Business, the ultimate startup guide to the music business. You can check it out at musicbusinessebook.com, Amazon Books, Barnes & Nobles, and everywhere that books are sold. And it will help you turn your love for music into a sustainable career. Check us out, musicbusinessebook.com.
No, that's a key point, and it was one of the things that came out of my guitarist, who's really talented, but did classes at Old Town School of Folk Music. That's here in the Windy City. It's a really well-known place. People go to learn how to perform and do things. It's not just about folk music. Just think of it as just kind of a center of music, like here in Chicago. And if you haven't seen it yet, it's pretty amazing. Right. But they have a class like that, and they talked about how just because a song's written in a certain key doesn't mean that it's in the right key for you. And you're taking that one step further, and you're saying when you're writing things, don't just grab a guitar and do your 3 chords. If that's not right, capo it, change it up. If you're a keyboard player, as David is, which is another thing I didn't mention, he's a keyboard player, you can just change the key up until your voice fits it perfectly and do that. Yeah, that's right. Now, what I was going to wonder on top of that, though, is that for hip-hop, if you're going to freestyle on top of things? Any advice for that? How to get on
If
stuff?
you're going to freestyle on top of beats, it have to be beats that you personally vibe with. But also, it gets a little bit deeper in terms of if your kick drum is tuned or not. If your kick drum is tuned, you got to know what key you're in. Same kind of idea.
Oh, wow.
So if we're hitting, a low D or whatever, and we're off a bass guitar, is that tuned to that D? Are the rest of the instruments tuned to that? And how do I sound with that? For example, I have more of a baritone voice, but you can't really hear your own voice when you talk because you're hearing it from inside your head. That's why when you hear yourself on tape, you're like, is that me?
Yeah.
You can't believe it.
Yeah.
And so you've got to, even with your percussive instruments and your kick drum, you got to tune to that, number one. And then number two, it's all about your flow. If you know anything about hip hop, you know it's about a flow.
That's right.
And so if
Randy's
you're
gonna
not
freestyle for us today, that's why he's
I have
asking.
never done that, which is why
That's why we're gonna
that
get
would
the
be
exclusive.
terrifying and a lot of fun.
Yep.
I'd be up for it, but I don't think it would be any good. We'll see.
So you gotta
Gotta tune myself to it.
When you're doing stuff like that, you need to listen to people that you vibe with.
Yeah.
And people whose flow you like, and then you can get energy from that.
Yeah, that sounds good. That was number 3. Let's hear number 4.
Number 4, Lord have mercy. You must know your pay cycles. Okay?
Pay cycles.
Your pay cycles, if you're getting performance rights organization, performance royalties, that's quarterly. Sound Exchange is quarterly. YouTube is monthly. Film and TV is whenever you strike the deal.
That's licensing, right?
Right, licensing, film and TV licensing. And so you've got to, because record advances is something else. So if you get a record advance, that's going to be the last money you see until you pay your loan back.
That's right.
And so you've got to know how to budget that money, because you're probably not going to see any more, and you may not see any more ever.
Right.
That's another conversation.
That's right.
But you got to know.
That's absolutely the case.
Oh, wow.
Everybody listen to what he just said.
Yeah.
Anybody who gets signed with a deal, that's probably the only money you're going to see. You're going to have to find the money somewhere else after that. Keep going.
And so, so you have to know your pay cycles, because you'll find out bills got to be paid, and stuff needs to happen. But you're like, when am I going to get some more money? So my Sound Exchange money coming in 4 times a year, performing rights money coming in 4 times a year. If I get a film and TV deal, now one of the things I got when I got out of school was I got a McDonald's and Disney commercial. 3 months out of school. That money, that was some sweet money. There's no money like TV money.
That's it.
And so
that's right.
And so what happened was they contacted an orchestral composer, but they said they wanted something more funky. So he said, I didn't really do that. And then he heard my demo. So he brought me in on the project. I ended up producing the project, played guitar on it, and I'm on the track singing I'm Loving It. So I got 3 checks.
Nice.
I got 1 as a producer, 1 as a guitar player, and 1 as a voice on the track. So every time it was on TV that week, cha-ching. So that's what I mean. You got to understand how that works, because you don't want to run through that money when it's flowing, which is what most people do. If you get a record advance, you don't want to run through. You don't want to do like Hammer, right, and get all this money, and then you in debt before the end of the month because you didn't understand taxes. So you get a $14 million advance. You got to pay taxes on that. That's only $7 million you have. So you can't buy a $10 million mansion. You're already in the hole. So you got to understand your pay cycles, and they're different for every single royalty stream.
Makes sense.
Your mechanicals, just you got to understand.
Got to mark that on your calendar. Be like, something, if I didn't get a check, you need to be checking it out, right? You need to be looking into it.
That's right. That's right. And if you're registered online, you can go to your account and see, well, this is what's due, because with your ASCAP or BMI, they send you a detailed printout of where your music was used and what kind of royalties it generated. And so, but you need to study that to be sure, because again, if you're going to be able to plan what you're doing, you got to know when's the money coming in again, and how am I budgeting on this? Yeah.
How we looking?
Right.
Data is great.
That's right. That's right.
That makes sense. I'm gonna play the role again of the person who just started, because you threw out a lot of terms that never talked about.
Okay.
There's a difference between ASCAP and BMI and Sound Exchange, and all the rest. Can you give like a 2-minute difference between what all these are, real brief?
Okay. ASCAP and BMI are what we call PROs. That stands for Performing Rights Organizations. What that means is that when your music is played in a public venue, performed in public, and in an analog way, it's coming through the air. They monitor those places like festivals, like jazz clubs, like any type of covers you do, that counts. Anything that you do live, film and TV stuff, anytime the music is performed, it generates a royalty. They monitor those spaces, collect the royalty, send it to the songwriters and the publishers.
And now Sound Exchange, which is different.
Exchange.
That's why I'm throwing it out, because
Right.
most people haven't run into that.
Sound Exchange has everything to do with the voices on the track.
Mm-hmm.
So the performing rights organizations, ASCAP and BMI, CSAC, and GMR, pay the writers and the publishers. Sound Exchange plays the actual artists and voices on the track. And Sound Exchange hasn't been around that long, late 90s when they added copyright, digital rights performance, because the voices on the track were not getting paid up to that point. So you must register as a featured artist on Sound Exchange. So when you're singing or rapping on the track, when they play the track, you get that income. That's separate from songwriter and publisher income. That's another one that a lot of people don't get. So you're like, I was on the track and the song blew up. Where's my check? If you're not on Sound Exchange, you don't get any performance money for being the voice on the track.
That's right.
So it's proper accreditation and ownership, right? That's how you do it.
That's
like
right.
You said they couldn't find you.
Right.
You got a common name. How they don't go knocking on your door like, hey, we got money for you.
And also, Sound Exchange takes your stage name as well.
That's
so as
right.
you perform under a stage name, you got to register that too.
And you know what? What was just said is really important. Wally and I actually manage an artist. There's another artist with the exact same name.
Yes.
It was credited, and we were trying to resolve the credit thing. So don't think that doesn't happen. No, that name collision. Thanks for clearing that up. We've gotten through number 4. Okay. So let's get to number 5.
Game, you see there's levels to this. It's not like you just grab a notepad and you wrote it down and then you hit the booth and you like, I write his songs. Like, no, this is official. So we're giving them the real deal, man. Thank you. Let's I'm excited. Number 4.
We're on 5.
We're on 5.
We got to 5.
Okay, here come number 5. Lord have mercy.
You keep
number
saying
5
that. It's scary, man.
Is finish what you start.
Oh, there we go.
All of us deal with procrastination.
That's right.
All of us. It just kind of comes with the personality and the territory. And what I've learned how to do is I've learned how to tap into my personal flow. The way I work, I know this isn't for everybody, but the way I work is if I sit there and look at it too long enough, it's not going to come to me. So I'm like, okay, I need a lyric. I got to go do something else. While I'm doing something else, the lyric will come.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it comes at 2 o'clock in the morning. I wake up, I'm like, that's
your time.
Yeah, I keep paper next to the bed or the shower. The shower is for some reason. I get the best stuff. But so no matter where you get it,
that's right.
Have a way to write it down.
That's right. That's right.
Put it in your phone. Put it in your phone if you got it.
But the thing about it is, even if you're just doing beats with no lyrics yet, it's just so easy to get started. And you're really excited at the beginning of the idea. But maybe you didn't get it all at once, or maybe you didn't finish it, and then a whole lot of people just kind of throw their hands up. Okay? And so you're sitting on all these unfinished beats, which is sitting on money. Sitting on money you could be making. You're sitting on all these unfinished songs or unfinished lyrics. And so sometimes, you might have to take a break, but you got to go back and finish what you started. That's how you develop your catalog, because procrastinating, just fighting that inertia is just a part of what we have to deal with. Because when you're in your zone, everybody knows about being in your zone, man. You feel like you could just write the world. I'm just going to stay in the studio. I don't need to sleep. Just give me, some water. I'm good. But when you're out of that zone, sometimes you can feel just as strongly the other way. Like, what am I doing? Do I know how to write? That kind of thing. And so, but you've got to learn how to discipline yourself or learn how your flow works to finish what you start. One of my most popular songs with my band back in the 90s, I wrote it in 93. And I played it. I was like, this is an almost but not quite.
Wow.
And I don't know what's missing, but I can tell. Then one day it hit me. Changed the key. Dropped it a half step, and it was just right in the
pocket.
Yeah.
You're
yeah,
kidding.
I wrote it in C, and then I dropped it to B natural. I was like, that's it right
A minor second, and it came together. Was it because the singing came together, or?
Okay. concise explanation, because the way we tune pianos in America, they're all equally out of tune.
Yeah.
They're not actually the true notes.
That's right.
So there's more than a half step between B and C.
Uh-huh.
There's more than a half step between E and F.
Okay.
So when we're talking about the length of strings and the vibrations and the oscillations, they're different, but they're a world of difference. Like old school harpsichords had 3 manuals, because D flat is not the same as C sharp.
Huh. No way.
It's not the same key.
Oh, man, does that get confusing quickly.
Right. It has to do with note length.
Wow.
So when you're striking the string, and so
I did not know that.
So yeah. So when you do and G flat,
sax player though. So
G flat and F sharp.
Excuses.
Yeah. Well,
not
you're
really
right.
the same
I
key.
should have known that.
So
Did you know that?
I was thinking that this
no,
morning.
You're just making. Oh, you're thinking of this
I
morning.
was thinking about it.
You're like, oh,
cornflakes.
chorus, yeah.
And then some voices sound better in natural keys. So some voices sound better in C, D, and E.
Okay.
And then some voices
That makes
sound better
sense.
in flat keys.
Nice.
E flat, D flat, A flat, B flat. So you got to know your singers. So for who I was dealing with, that was just right in the pocket as soon as I dropped the key.
Yeah. No kidding.
Levels.
Wow.
Levels to this.
Yeah, no, this is some deep stuff. Well,
what's going on? It's your boy Wally, aka Mr. Music is My Business from Urban Grind TV. I'm here to announce my brand new book is out. It's available everywhere books are sold. It's titled Music is My Business, the ultimate startup guide to the music business. You can check it out at musicbusinessebook.com, Amazon Books, Barnes & Nobles, and everywhere that books are sold. And it will help you turn your love for music into a sustainable career. Check us out, musicbusinessebook.com.